Much for still staying tuned with us on Frontline this Thursday morning. Just before we went on that break, I'll let you know that we'll be looking at the CAMA Bill 2020 signed by President Muhammadu Buhari on August 7, 2020. It will be recorded that on the 8th of May 2017, the Nigerian Senate President inaugurated a technical advisory committee to review the complaints and alleged matters But on August 7, President Muhammadu Buhari signed the act into law to replace the 30-year-old Complaint and Alleged Matter Act of 1990. So it's been like a 30 years. A child that was born 1990. So the new Complaints and Alleged Matter Act introduced new provision to reflect modern commercial realities, as well as reduce compliance costs and regulatory hurdles for business in Nigeria. Ever since he signed the bill into law, there have been a lot of reaction. Kudos to his economic team, particularly the special advisor to the president on ease of doing business in Nigeria. There have been a lot of reaction that it's a good news to the world of business, that it's going to ease business doing, of course, in Nigeria. I'm not going to do the talking alone on the program today. I have a guest here in the studio with me. I have Mr. Earl with me. He's a legal practitioner.
Thank you.
Good to have you on the program.
Thank you so much.
All right. We will be reviewing the highlights and some of the implications. I believe that there is no law that comes without some flaws. As much as it's being painted, it looks like it's a good news and it's a welcome development. I believe we still have some flaws, some challenges, some constraints on those bills. Let me ask you, when you first heard about it, what came to your mind? What was your reaction towards it?
The first thing was that I was excited.
Okay.
Taking into consideration that we've had for a long period of time, we've not had a review on the particular, law, yes, on that act. And the reason has been, I've been working with many entrepreneurs over the years, and we've always had issues like this. People want to register a kind of business. People want to do this kind of business, but the law in Nigeria does not support it, so they cannot register the way they want to register. So I've had many clients who had come up for different registrations, and they could not actually register the type of business they wanted, the type of structure they wanted. Of course, we are interacting with the foreign world now. We are interacting more with the Western world. So we've had people who like, okay, this kind of business that my partner, that my friends are doing, that these other people are doing on this other side of the divide, I can also do it here in Nigeria. And they get these foreign certifications, they get these foreign licenses, but they cannot practice because the CAMA here limits them. They cannot do the business because the CAMA here limits them. So when the law came up, I was excited. Let me tell you one very interesting thing. The night on the 6th of August, my client, after about 5 months thereabouts, battling on how he was going to register his company, what he's going to do, the objectives and the rest, we finally concluded, and on the 6th of August, he brought all his details, let us register it. We have already reserved the name. The name was expiring on the 7th of August. Wow. So we needed to complete everything on the 6th of August. So we filed everything. While we were filing, I said, sir, you gave me the only one name of a director, one name as a subscriber. You are the only subscriber to this company. No, the CAMA insists that it must be at least two subscribers. And the guy is like, it's just me. I don't have any other person. I'm not having a partner. I'm just the person starting up this thing. I'm the person funding this thing. I said, sorry, we are limited. It's not optional. It's not something we can discuss. It's not something we can negotiate. That is what the law says. And he had to go and provide his brother to become the second subscriber, and just had to give him just some shares so that he would meet the requirements of the law. And bam, the next day, a law is signed that says that
the bill is signed into law.
It can only one director and only one subscriber.
Just imagine. So it came at the right time for him.
But now he has already paid. He has already registered. We have already filed with 2 directors already. So imagine, I just wanted to just say that many people over the years have had those constraints, and I actually thank God for everyone working around ease of doing business. You know, there was once a time that CAMA required a certificate of competence that before you must do some things, you must be competent in that area. But right now they are like, see, I am a legal practitioner. I can decide to own a hospital. Why must I be a medical practitioner to own a hospital? I can own a hospital and employ medical practitioners to render the medical services and the rest. So for me, it's a good news.
It's a good news. The CAMA 2020 repeals the CAMA 1990, which is like 30 years now. That means we've been suffering for 30 years.
Yes, for about 30 years.
For 30
we did not
years.
grow business-wise.
Exactly, that is just the point. And amongst this provision introduces the following change, which we can consider as a 15 business-friendly agenda and Nigerian New Companies and Allied Matters Act. And one of the provision is a provision for a single member shareholder companies, whereby under the CAMA 2020 a private company can be established with only one member or a shareholder, just like you've said here. But do you see any challenge in this, particularly, you know, for people that are just coming up to do business? You know, the example you cited, he has been in business.
Yes.
But you know, we have some people that are just coming up as business owner.
Well, the thing about it is that the kind of ideas that are driving the world right now, the kind of ideas that are driving the economy of the world are fresh ideas. They are new ideas. So there are things that just pop up and people may not easily buy into it because they are looking at the risk. This is something new. Who will buy? If I put my money here, will it come out? So there's so much responsibility on the entrepreneur who is doing the work to put his life into it, to put his money into it, to put his health into it, and build it to a level that it becomes attractive for investors. It becomes attractive for other people to say, okay, I think I like what you are doing. I would like to do it too, or I would like to invest in it. So for people like that, I think it's okay. It's okay for them to want to start alone. The only challenge about it may just be the trust people have in it. For example, what is one of the concerns people have about the one-man business? It's just a one-man show. What if this guy fails me? What if this guy decides to run away? What if this guy decides to mismanage my money? He's just a one person. People usually believe that when they are dealing with a company, that was the idea before. The idea was that it is a company. A company means that it is more than one person, a company of people. People coming together to say, we want to make this work. So your trust is in that team. I believe this team can make the business work. So the challenge right now for the private business owner who just wants to register a company himself alone is that he poses threats to other people who wants to invest to say, no, why should I be dealing with only one person? This one person can decide to make a wrong decision. This one person may not, he does not have somebody else he's consulting. They don't have people they are discussing together. That is just a challenge. But outside that, it's not a big challenge.
It's
not really a big challenge.
That is insurmountable.
No, it's something to pass. Obviously, with time, you can also bring in other members.
Sure. The drive for more federal revenue could lead to less internally generated revenue, according to one of the highlights of the bill for Nigerian state. This is especially true in the commercial hub like Lagos now, where most of the businesses and startups are domiciled. Now the question is, on the other hand, could that mean that the federal and the state government will be battling for share or the tax? You know, in Lagos we have businesses. It's like a Lagos. It's like a business hub. People will now prefer to register as an enterprise.
Yes. Okay. The thing about it is that society evolves, laws develop. So I know that right now, according to what I was talking to some guys on Monday, thereabout, and I told them something. I said, the reason why the government is trying to bring this is because it's trying to bring everybody within its tax control. It's trying to bring everybody within its tax web. However, in doing that, we constantly have this battle between the federal government and the state government when it comes to revenue generation. That is it. Who does this person's tax belong to? So right now, companies' tax...
Who bears the body?
Yes, who bears the body. So ordinarily, companies, their taxes are supposed to go to with the CAMA that is in force, because the new CAMA has not yet come into force. It has only been signed into law, but it has not yet commenced. Interestingly, we do not even know when it's going to commence. There's no commencement date. So
we should not start rejoicing yet.
we are still waiting for them to be through with all the administrative processes, the gazetting of the law, the announcement of a commencement date and all of that. But for now, we just know that that law is in existence, but it's not yet ineffective. The country and every other person is still operating with the CAMA of 1990. So what I just want to see is that with time, there will be this great division, because usually enterprises, business names, okay, as it stands right now, business covers enterprises, trading, entrepreneurship, and the rest, the simple partnerships and all of that. Their taxes ordinarily ought to go to the state government, which is the value-added tax, ought to go to the state government. Company income tax and the rest ought to go to federal government. But we still see some businesses right now who pay their tax to the federal rather than to the state where they are domiciled. It's just like your personal income tax. It's supposed to be paid to the state where you live. So in places like Lagos, where people are working in Lagos, and yet they are living in Ogun.
Imagine.
But then their taxes are deducted from source. So Lagos takes their tax from source, where they are employed. Meanwhile, their tax ordinarily belongs to Ogun, where they live.
Not Lagos where they work.
Not Lagos where they work. So this poses challenges, but with time, there have always been conflicts. For example, we are still having conflicts now about stamp duties. Who is supposed to collect stamp duties? Is it the Federal Inland Revenue Service, or is it the Nigeria Post Office? You understand it now? So a time came, Post Office says, okay, we have the right to produce the stamps. You have the right to, so you get your stamps from us, and you say, and this one I say, no, we produce our stamps ourselves, and we say. So there have always been this battle. It's money. People will always fight for money.
Sure.
So
that is quite understandable.
Yes.
We also understand that the authorized share capital has been abolished, and this sounds drastic, if I must say, and has several market participants concerned. Do you consider this causing any harm to the business world?
For now, we still have to look at the minds of the local investor. I'm not, yes, due to the pandemic and the rest, foreign direct investment in Nigeria has crashed, right? And Nigeria has been surviving mainly from internal generated revenue, which has been from taxes, from stamp duties, and other things. When it comes to that, I don't think. For now, I'm just still observing it. That's the truth. The truth about it is that I'm still observing it. I'm still observing the attitude of people towards it. What do people think regarding from authorized share capital to minimum share capital? Is there actually any difference? Does it actually pose any difference to the person who is investing? I don't know if you understand it. So does it actually? Because many companies right now I won't say authorized share capital, right? This is the authorized share capital. But how many companies, how many startups actually have that capital? I can tell you that for many of the companies that have registered in the last 1 year, I'm very sure that 75% of them do not have that capital in running their business, do not really have that capital somewhere, do not really have that. So they are startups. You know, because they need, you need to do a business with me, for example. But because I'm telling you that I'm doing this business in the Orice passion, if you ask for my bank account and I give you my name, you may not want to pay. You may be concerned. You want a bank account in the name of the Orice passion, right? So obviously, I don't have sufficient money to be doing all those registration things, those capital things, those structure things. So what do? I just force myself to just do the basic, register and get a bank account. And let me just keep on seeing the Nigeria statement, how they hustle and how they struggle to build up things and the rest. So very few people go back to do a search in your, I'm talking generally now, to go back to CAC to do a search to know how much authorized share capital do you really have. Unless you are consulting for the government, or for some foreign organizations, or for some big companies, that's when they really want to know what is it. Depending on your business, for example, if I say I'm a tailor, right? I'm a tailor, I sew, and you want to give me the job to sew 500 particular vests for your company or the rest. You may not be so concerned about whether my share capital is authorized or it is minimum or is this and that. You just only want to know whether I can do it and what was the minimum deposits you need to make for me to produce those dresses. So it's something that is cool. It's something that is acceptable, because what the government is targeting, the governments are not targeting the big boys company. The governments it's presently targeting the small guys, the guys who are just starting off, the guys who are just trying to put things together to end. The government is saying, hey, we can allow you to do this thing in a corporate way. We can allow you to do this thing in a really good way that will give you, you know, there's this feeling you have when you have your CAC certificate. There's this feeling you have when you have your tax identification number, you have your corporate bank account. You understand? The government is saying, we can give you that leverage. Come and do this. And so while you are doing it, the government is saying, hey, we cannot be giving you this and you're not paying your tax. We cannot be doing this, giving you this and you're not, your books are not that. We cannot be giving you this and you too, you are not contributing something.
So with this bill, tax defaulters have no hiding place anymore.
There's really no hiding place, and it's something that is welcomed. I know giving the government money is not easy anywhere in the world.
It isn't.
Not in the UK, not in the US, not in the Arab Emirates. As much as people can, they don't want to pay their tax. As much as people can, they don't want to pay their tax. If they can avoid paying their tax, many people will not. Not many people. Most people will not.
Most.
In fact, even civil servants that always brag that they pay their tax, it's because it's deducted from source.
From the source,
if you give them the money first and tell them to pay the tax, you see if they will pay. So the thing about it is that, yes, it is not so easy, but then it's going to become more challenging for these small business owners when it comes to tax, because keeping your books in order, where it makes them better businessmen. It makes them realize that every day I have to close my books. Every day I have to ensure that my books are in order and they're proper and they are good for business. Because when you tell them they have 200K in their account, they should give you
a tax or
so and so. It's really touching, because somewhere in their mind, the moment a client is paying them 200, they have solved that 200 in their head. They have spent it, forgetting that they are supposed to pay tax. So it's going to be...
That's an average Nigerian for you.
So it's going to be challenging. But with time, the thing about Nigerians is that, not just Nigerians, humans in general, they will do things, they will give you money if they see their money working.
That is it.
If they see their money working. If we start paying tax right now and the country is working, our electricity gets better, our roads get better, water comes in, our educational system gets better. If they see our money working, they will pay. But the more senators are changing their cars, the more lawmakers and politicians are getting better in their lives. Their children are schooling abroad. Our schools here are going on strike. The more things are getting worse, the more people will not want to pay the tax. Because why? Because now I don't see myself as paying tax to the government. I just see myself as funding some politicians.
That's just the point, because as much as this bill makes provision for transparency, accountability, and credibility, we will still have some element of corruption.
Definitely.
Even in the process.
And that's what people are. Cop that corruption. Let them see their money working. You know, somebody said something, and I find it very instructive and to some extent true. He said the Buhari government is not fighting corruption. The Buhari government is only recovering money. It's only recovering money that people have stolen. It's not fighting corruption. Corruption has not stopped.
That is
there's nothing that the government has done to say they have cut off corruption here, they have stopped corruption there. Corruption have not stopped. They are only recovering money. Okay, somebody stole money and they recovered it. Somebody stole money, they go after the person and they recover it. But has it stopped? The people who are there right now, can they boldly say that they are not as corrupt as the previous governments? Can they boldly say that they are less corrupt than the previous politicians? They can't say that. What they are only telling us is that they recover so and so.
We only heard it on
papers. The question again now is that they recover so and so. They have recovered. With what they have recovered thus far, what has gotten better?
Nothing has changed.
Invested that money in. Have they invested it in our railway, in transport, in our road transport,
health system,
in our health system? All the monies they have recovered thus far, have they put it back into our foreign reserves and the rest, and our foreign reserves have grown or anything? So where is it? We saw the palliatives that was shared during the lockdown,
the pandemic,
and they said they shared all that money by cash, and all of it could happen in 24 hours. I don't know how it is. I remember those days where they used to pay civil servants via cash. And I remember my mom being a primary school teacher, her headmistress and the rest, they would have to go to the bank, they would withdraw the money, bring it, and start counting the cash and giving to each teacher that works in the school, and the school may not have up to 15 teachers, and yet that activity will take them more than 5 hours split. And somebody tells me that the Nigerians will take money before. There's no news coverage anywhere. There's no news coverage about how it was shared. There was no news coverage of how it was being shared.
How many Nigerians even came out to say that they've received theirs?
We only heard after it was shared that it was shared. So people don't even trust the government. So the government is saying, come and pay tax. We are like, there's no problem, let us pay the tax. But are we seeing the tax? Are we seeing what our money is doing? Leave it. Because sometimes even when Nigeria is trying to do, CAMA is good. This CAMA is good because it's one of the first things that is supporting the Nigeria economy, business world, just like the finance bill that says that, okay, if your company or your business is not making profit up to 25 million a year, you don't have to be paying value-added tax. So that's just it. It's good.
Well, it's a good thing, and it's even coming at the right time when the COVID-19 pandemic has bring down the economy, and every other sector is just coming up with different ideas of different things to do to boost the economy. I've been having this amazing conversation with Mr. Earl, all right, and we're talking about the CAMA Bill 2020 signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari on August 7, 2020, and its impact on business. We go on a short break now, and when we come back, we'll be looking at the implication of this bill, what are the constraints and the flaws in this bill, and how is it going to affect the business world. Do stay with us. Glad is my heart to know you are still there with us on Frontline this Thursday morning as we are still looking at CAMA 2020. Well, we've said it all that it's coming at the right time. It's a timely thing, and it's coming in a good time where we have people coming up with different ideas, business ideas, just to make sure that we bring back our economy, we revive and we boost the economy. Just before that break, I said we'll be looking at the implication. As much as it's beautiful, it's good, it's a good idea that CAMA Bill is coming right now, but we want to believe that there is nothing that comes without the bad side of it. So this is what we'll be talking about. But before we go into that, one of the details of the CAMA Bill is that filing, share transfer, and meeting can now be done electronically by private companies. Annual general meeting can now be held virtually for all companies. And this is Nigeria. During this COVID-19 pandemic, where we have schools doing online learning, e-learning, and some other things, we have so many parents complaining that it's not being easy where data is expensive or where there is disruption in the network. Now, what do we have to say to this? And this is coming for business owners.
Well, the thing about it is that when one good thing happens in one particular sector, it affects every other sector. Every other sector is forced to join it, right? Now, so the pandemic happened and people could not have physical meetings again. So everybody started opting for how can we meet virtually? How can we still have our discussions and our meetings virtually? And automatically what happened? Telecommunications started doing everything to ensure that their own industry matches up with the demand of the consumers who need good network to be able to have these meetings. Is that then the software and the app designers started working on their apps and on their programs to ensure that their apps and programs can meet the demand of these consumers. So everything has been going on. We are now having. Yesterday I had a meeting on Room, that is Facebook Room. Today I'll have another meeting on Room. We are having different means of having virtual meetings right now. So for me, I think that is good. This is why I say it is good. Take, for example, most especially when it comes to incorporated trustees, for example, the non-for-profit. most of their trustees are usually not in the same location.
Exactly.
Right? And when it comes to some other businesses, like my law firm, for example, I'm a partner of a law firm, and that law firm is in Lagos. Right? The headquarters of our law firm is in Lagos, but I'm here in Ibadan. So imagine every time we needed to have meetings, I will have to travel or they will have to travel. But now this CAMA, and then many times we've had people lying. So yes, because MTN, for example, MTN some years ago and other telecommunications joined started creating rooms of conference video calls for their consumers and the rest. So many people have been having virtual meetings. Over time, they have been having, I remember one company that I did their work for about 3 years ago, and all the meetings they had, they were like in 3 different states. It was through conference phone call, that's the meeting. And the meeting was being recorded, transcription of the meeting was made to create the notes and the rest. So it has always been, people have been doing that, like, why must you insist that all of us must gather in a place? Who has that time? Who has that energy? When we can stay in different places and just have this meeting. So people have been having this meeting.
Decisions will be taken.
Yes. People have been having this meeting and be lying to the government that they had it physically. So place of meeting, they will say Nestle Bridge Solicitors, Cocoa House, Ibadan. Meanwhile, the meeting was actually held remotely.
Okay.
But now, this law is now saying, you can have it. It is not accepted. Because the traditional law, 1990, people did not envisage that what is happening right now will happen. So physical meeting was a must. How did you say you want to have a meeting through post office? 9 posts, you send a letter, and 3 weeks, you are still looking for your letter that is supposed to be delivered to another state in the same region, and it's not yet delivered. People did not envision that. So the law was wired and knitted and designed, was drafted based on the realities of 1990. But in these days, let me tell you the interesting thing. I charge more consultation fees if you insist on meeting me in my office.
Okay.
I charge a lesser consultation fee if you choose to meet me online. Why? Because I actually don't want to go through that stress of sitting in the office and having somebody in the office. I want to just be relaxed. I want to be, in fact, I tell people, I want to attend that meeting wearing my boxers and my singlet, because it is not video call, it's an audio call. That's how I want to attend that. But when you not tell me you want to meet with me physically, you're telling me to take my bath, to dress up, to leave the house, come to the office, sit down in the office and start going through all those business for you, you pay higher consultation fees. That's my own style. So you want to meet with me, choose. I tell you to choose. This one, this is the cost. This one, this is the cost. Now, CSE say, we are tired, not CSE now, the federal government is saying we are tired of making you go through that stress. You can have virtual meetings. So it is something that is easier for these people. And now it says you cannot find some of these things online. Do you know? I'm still going to go to CAC today. Do you know how many times we go to CAC when it comes to filing people's annual returns? You keep on going. Today they tell you this, tomorrow they tell you that. You keep on going, you do all of that. And now the person is telling me, don't go. You can actually do it through your computer and through your phone. So instead of stressing myself, going on the road, having to deal with traffic, having to deal with noise, having to take all that time, go there, I stay on a queue, I sit down waiting for somebody. You say, I can just find these things on E. Man, this is far better. It's far, far better.
All right. Thank you so much for hitting that point. Yes. I want to believe that there is a particular reaction that I know the viewers will be wanting to hear from you as regards one of the reaction when the bill was first signed, coming from a minister of the gospel, and that church should have been excluded. You know, it's also stated that this one of the highlights of the bill is going to affect the trustees of the church, that it's going to be in charge of so many activities in the church, and this is a spiritual gathering as it is, that people come to pray, and maybe the bill could have excluded the church from it.
Well, the thing about it is that I usually say something that we are naturally selfish. As humans, we are naturally selfish and self-centered. We are usually first of all concerned about us before any other person out there. So that's why even the Mosaic law says, love thy neighbor as who? Thyself. It starts from how you love yourself. That's how much you should love the other person. Thank God Jesus Christ, repeats that law. He set it aside when he said that you have heard, love your neighbor as thyself, but I say unto you, love them as I have loved you. So he repeats that law. But you see, many people, including many pastors, thank God this is New Frontiers Television, many people, including pastors, still teach love thy neighbor as thyself. Many people still teach it, that's the standard. That would you want your neighbor to have one eye? Would you want yourself to have one eye? Why take one eye away from your neighbor? Would you want yourself to have one hand? Why take it? Well, some people may. People are sick these days, psychologically, psycho issues and the rest. So people cut themselves. People are committing suicide more and the rest. So that is not even what the law is. The law is love them as I have loved you, not love your neighbor as yourself. So now, naturally, we are selfish. Coming back here now, the law was not meant for churches. The law was meant for all non-profits. Church is but one. I don't know whether, so it includes my estate. It includes my estate association. It includes my professional association, the Nigeria Bar Association. It includes my my tribal Parapo Association. It includes it includes the NGOs. It includes every person who claims that they are doing business for not-for-profit. Right? So now this is it. This is my own perspective to it. When I just became a lawyer, I'm 9 years at the bar right now. So when I just became a lawyer and I needed to do annual returns for a particular church, for example. Yes, it was a church. So I was like, okay, audited account. And I was told at the CAC that I don't need an audited account for a church. I just felt, why? Why shouldn't a church have an audited account? That was the reaction.
As much as we are collecting tithes and offerings.
I am an ordained minister. I'm a pastor's kid. But then it still did not make sense because I felt that this is a trusteeship. People trust you with their money. If you raise offerings, if you collect tithes, if you collect this and that, where the people don't need to tell you what you should use it for. But I think you have a responsibility to tell these people how you spent it. They may not have the power to tell you this is what you should use it for. But if they give you money, it is moral for you to come back and tell them the money you gave to us, this was the amount, and this is how we spent it, because it is about trust. It's a trusteeship. Now, have you noticed that many people try to say that one of the easiest ways to be a big boy is for you to just quickly register an NGO and find sponsorship from federal government or any of these international organizations. So we have people lying that they are helping less privileged. They are going to do photoshops. They are going to do, I say photoshops. They are going to do photo shoots, right? To put on their website to claim that they are doing this project and they are doing this project. So you see somebody who says he's doing not-for-profit, he's richer than the person who is running a company. Like, how come? You are the one doing not-for-profit. You are the one richer than somebody who is running a company. You get it now? It's not like you are a staff of the not-for-profit. What is your salary if you are a staff? How come you are able to? It's a question like, if your salary is 100,000 naira per month, for example, how come you are driving this kind of car? How come you are able to live in this type of house, in this kind of
living a luxury life.
In this part of place? So this law, as far as I'm concerned, some sector people, like some churches, may actually feel challenged about it, but I do not really see it. Is more or less like this. Okay, I know the part that most of them are fighting about is not about the accountability, not the financial accountability, because if you speak against the financial accountability, then people will wonder, okay, what have you been doing? Why are you fighting about it? So people are not fighting about the financial part of it being accountable. What they're fighting actually is the fact that the government can take over.
Say on the church.
The government can take over. Well, the government have been taking over even companies and the rest. Yes, the government have been trying to take charge of the rest. This is it. It's an organization. It's registered with the government. It's being monitored by the government. It has to do with the citizens of that particular government, that particular country. It has to do with the trust of these particular people. So they see that there's bad management somewhere, like where we have seen in some churches, this is a statement of facts. It's not like a speculation. The Assemblies of God Church, their administration and their fight has been in court now for how long? And they have how many factions right now, right? So it's still battling. They are still having all these facts, and it's a statement of fact. It's not speculations. The court processes are there, the court judgments are there, and everything. So that kind of thing that is happening, that is breaking that church and destroying that body. Remember, it is a body, and this is it. The moment your organization grows, the government grows. Exactly. When there's conflict in your organization and the rest, it's indirectly also affects the community, indirectly also affects the government, indirectly affects the country. So the government is saying, no, instead of you to destroy this organization that people have built, instead of you destroying this organization that people's trust have built over time, we will set up an interim managerial committee to take over it. It's not permanently. It's not even permanent. It is to take over it, to bring back stability to that organization and hand it over. They will still hand it over. They don't take over it perpetually. All they do is that they just take over the management, manage it, and appoint somebody or appoint new trustees from those people to take over. So it's still going to come back to the people. It's just that new managerial committee will know, okay, this person, you are not acting in the best interest. And that's the same thing I'm saying regarding things like AMCON, and I'm saying about EFCC. When they go and they seal up hotels and they seal up all these recreational entertainment centers, I terribly get mad. Do you know why? That place was employing people. That place was paying people. People were being paid. That place, they were paying tax or whatever. They were supposed to be generating money for the government, some income for the government. They were paying people. They became a place. When you close a hotel, you end the business of the staff. You end the business of the companies that supply them food and drinks. You end the business of the electricity company that supplies them electricity. You end the business of the TV and the radio stations that supply them services that they have to be subscribed to DSTV and subscribing to their different cables and the rest. You end these different. Inside me, I usually get mad. Like, why? Why can't you take over the management? Why seal it up?
Staff.
Why seal it up? If they are owing money, why not take over the management and raise this money? And after you have raised this money and paid yourself, you send it back. So for me, it's
something that we should work on. Yeah.
If your church is not acting well and the rest, we have had many ministries that have closed. We have not had many NGOs that have closed down. We have had many ministries and many NGOs and the rest that have broken up because of poor administration. Instead of that happening, somebody now says that instead of this happening, a time will come, when it becomes difficult for you to handle, we'll come and handle it. And by the time we are done handling it, we'll hand it over. We'll hand it back. What's wrong with that?
Well, we just hope that there will be an enough of this opposition towards the CAMA 2020 by all organizations, irrespective of whether it's a religious organization or not. Because as far as the bill is concerned, as far as the 15 points is concerned, there are good developments for the business world. I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Earl, for coming on the program, particularly to review the CAMA Bill 2020 with us on Frontline this morning. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much, Javier, for being part of the program. Don't forget that it is an opportunity for businesses to strive. It's an opportunity for you to also look around and tap into resources around you to kickstart a business and make the world a better place for every one of us. Thank you so much for staying with us on Frontline this morning. I'll see you again some other time. Do have a wonderful day. It's goodbye for now.